We're starting a new newsletter, and you're going to be the primary editor. And what would you like people to know about what we're doing and what you're doing in connection with Epstein justice?
I would like people to know that this mission, because I really do think it's a mission. For me, it started over 30 years ago. I am in the unique position that I actually have internal experience with an Epstein like human trafficking ring. I know it from the inside. And over 30 years ago, I came forward as a victim. And the one thing that people need to realize, over 30 years ago, there was no internet. Most people did not have a cell phone. There wasn't the video presence. It wasn't like you could just whip out your phone and video something. And the difference between my experience and what's happening with Epstein is back in those days, people just didn't believe that anyone that was in a position of authority or that had money or that was famous, there's no way that they would ever do anything that would jeopardize their position or their power or their financial concerns. So typically back then, the media and the government would often say that the victims were liars or they were doing it for financial gain or attention or book or movie deals. And that was pretty much what I was labeled as. And of course, now over 30 years later, we know, history has proven that what I said was happening happened and is continuing to happen. And I just can't allow the stand that I took to be for naught. I mean, this is still happening. And the similarities between what happened in Omaha, Nebraska 35 years ago and what is happening today with the Epstein case, it's a mirroring of what happened then. So I do have some experience. I would say more than just some, but I do have some experience with this. And my life's mission is to stand up and say, no, we're not going to allow this. Also, because of the technology differences, we have the ability to inform people on what is going on. And I think that when people really can see the evidence, when they know what's happening and they know the characters that are involved, we can force our government and our law enforcement to take action and stop this because it really does affect every single person. When our government refuses to investigate and hold perpetrators accountable, that has a cost on our society. Not only are we not protecting our most vulnerable citizens, but it really does impact every single one of us. And our goal with Epstein Justice is to create a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And that's important. We need to hold perpetrators accountable. And we also need to be able to trust our government and our media. We have the right to know, we have the right to honest, fair reporting. And the only way that we're going to get that is to demand, as citizens, concerned citizens, that we won't accept anything less. So I think that with this organization, Epstein Justice, um, as hopefully those that are going to follow our newsletter are going to be updated and be able to take a stand with us. It's not anything that isn't doable. If we come together and as one voice tell our Congress this needs to be investigated, and our law enforcement, our judicial branch, our legislative branch need to make sure that there is accountability and transparency. And that's how we're going to be able to shine a light on this so that these perpetrators cannot continue to do this in darkness and get away with it.
Well, Alicia, as a follow-up question, what do you think people, supporters of our efforts, what should they do next?
Well, the first thing is actually critical. We are going to be going to Congress and submitting this petition, and we need to be a united front. So we need people to sign the petition and let their voice be heard. The applet that we have on the EpsteinJustice.com website is incredibly easy. It'll take you max 2 or 3 minutes. Your congressional legislature, your federal legislators will get a letter from you saying that you are aware of this and that you expect them to take action. And that is the number one thing, because we need to be able to show that we as a society expect this to be handled. We expect the truth. We expect the transparency. We expect our law enforcement to hold people accountable. We expect them to investigate. And we have the right to know what is going on with our children. So that's the first thing. The second thing we are going to be doing in hopefully the fairly near future is we are going to be having rallies and demonstrations. Show up. Let your voice be heard. You don't have to actually physically speak out, but your presence is noted. Our Congress is there because people vote. And we need to take note of who is actually willing to follow the will of the people, who is actually willing to stand up for us and protect our children. So that's why we ask them to go there. They are there to help protect us. And if they're not doing that job, maybe they shouldn't be there. And the third thing is, and quite frankly, this is just the nature of things. Not everything we do is free. We donate our time, we are careful with our resources, and we make sure that every single penny that we have is used wisely. And if you feel the need to help us, because the internet isn't free and a lot of the things that we do are not free, but if you feel led to help us achieve these goals, and if you would like to donate, we could also make sure that any donations, we are a tax deductible organization. And if you feel the need to donate, I guarantee you that those proceeds are used for furthering and achieving this goal. And it's a worthwhile thing to contribute to.
Alicia, is there anything that we're missing or that you'd like to add?
I'd like to talk about this newsletter that subscribers are going to start getting because I really think it's exciting. One of the things about our newsletter that is going to be different than most other newsletters, maybe that people have contact with, is I really believe in showing the evidence. It's one thing on the internet, you hear people talk about this thing or that thing, and it's all just talk. The thing that is really important to me is that we show the proof. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. Unfortunately, most abusers don't give receipts, but there is a paper trail. And you can get lost for hours online hearing this person's story or that person's story. But with this newsletter, we are dedicated to showing you the proof so that when every month when this comes out, if you hear about something or want to see what was actually said or what was actually written or where did we get that information, you can look at our newsletter and all of those highlighted embedded links. If you click on that, that takes you to the evidence. You don't have to go searching online, wading through documents. We've done it. It's all there, which is one of the reasons why we are asking. The proof is there, all the evidence is there. We want our law enforcement to take that proof and take action on it. And by looking at this and also promoting it, you can share this newsletter. Ask if you have friends or family that are interested or that you would like them to become educated. This is a great resource. This month's newsletter, it's our maiden voyage on this venture, but we're going to have some few different sections. And one of the sections that we're going to have that it's going to be, I think, quite interesting is people of interest or point of interest, our POI, because we're asking for an investigation. We're highlighting things that need to be further investigated. So take a look at our person of interest, because this month's person of interest is a person, Wexner, and most people know him as the CEO of Victoria's Secret. And most people know, well, he had something to do with Epstein. Check that out and click on the links, because we're not just saying this, it didn't come out of thin air. There's actual proof. And so I think that that is one of the things that really separates this newsletter and our organization against other things that you have seen or heard. We provide the black and white documentation. So I really would highly, if this is something that you're interested in and it's something that you want to follow and you want to know the actual proof, it's not just hearsay, take a look, spend a little bit of time to read the articles and click on the links. It's right there. It couldn't be easier. Another thing with our newsletter is our director, Nick Bryant. Nick has been working on Epstein since like 2010. He's the guy that first published the Little Black Book. And he did that back in 2015. So finally, here it is, almost 8 years later. The media is all of a sudden making a big splash about this. It's been out there for a long time and nobody's done anything. There is so much documentation and evidence. But one of the things with this newsletter is Nick, myself, and you, Pete, we've been doing podcasts, and you can actually go to our newsletter and national podcasts, local podcasts. We're really working on getting our mission out. You can actually go to our newsletter and the previous month. So this month, when you're looking at previous podcasts, you'll be seeing the podcasts that were done in February. And of course, like next month, you'll see the podcasts that were done this month in March. So if you'd like to catch up on those and get a more thorough description, because the newsletter is kind of a condensation of all of the work that we've been doing the previous months and news that's come out. And we do have the ability, because this is a dynamic situation, of putting things out there as they happen so that you can stay up to date. One of the things that Epstein Justice has done is we have an advisory board, and check out our website. Our team, those are the people that we're doing the day-to-day operations. But we have an advisory board that really is world renowned. We actually have an Epstein victim. We're not just an organization that decided to just create itself and claim a mission. We actually have world renowned advisors that have decades of experience in human trafficking. So check out our advisory board. This month we have a great interview that Nick does with a member of our board, so you'll get to know each one of them. And then we also have our team, and take a look at our team, because we have a great team. We really do. People that are passionate, that are willing to spend the time to bring you the information. So there will be, of course, new additions to our newsletter as things come up, but we will have a few core sections that you can read and educate yourself and share. I would highly suggest that one of the things that people can do is share this newsletter. That's how we get the word out.
Well, Alicia, can we expect discussion with you like this every month, or is this a one-time thing?
No, I am really excited about this. This recording is really meant, I appreciate and I'm honored to have you, the listener. Right now, it's a one sided conversation, but I really am talking to you. And if you have any questions or if something has touched you, I want this to be an interactive conversation. So if you have suggestions or questions, you can join this conversation, and I value your feedback. So if you would like to ask questions, let me know your thoughts on this or how it's touched you. Feel free to email me at info@epsteinjustice.com. I promise your emails will be read, and I really do just appreciate you taking the time to be part of this. So thank you.
We've been talking with Epstein Justice Associate Director Alisha Owen. I'm Associate Director of Epstein Justice Peter Shin. Thanks for listening.